Well, good day traders. Today we are going to have a look at how to set up your HFCopy account. Now, as a HFCopy follower, there are a couple of things that you want to look at when choosing the correct strategy provider for you, as well as once you have chosen the strategy provider that you would like to follow, we are going to go through the steps that you then need to follow to copy this specific provider. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we would want to start off with opening the HFM website by going to hfm.com. Once you've opened the website, you will come to our homepage, from whereof you will be able to log in. To log in, simply click on the red login button. Then it will prompt you to enter in your MyHF account ID and password. Once you have done this, you can proceed to click login. Now from here, let's head over to HFCopy. And let's start off by having a look at my follower accounts. Under this tab, you'll be able to monitor how many follower accounts you have, how many strategy providers you are following, what your current balances are, as well as should you want to make any changes to any of your follower accounts, this is where you will do it. However, let's go have a look at how to follow a strategy provider by heading over to follow a strategy. You will also see that you are unable to follow some strategy providers as they will be password protected, but not all. If you do want to follow a strategy provider that is password protected, you will have to get in touch with that specific strategy provider to provide you with the password that is required. Nonetheless, let's have a look at a strategy provider that we are able to follow by clicking on View Profile. Now that the strategy provider's profile has opened, there's a couple of things that we want to have a look at to start off with. First of all, we want to see what the total gains are since inception. Then we also want to see what is the max drawdown, enabling us to see what we are getting ourselves into. Then you want to have a look at the performance fee that this specific strategy provider charges. Remember, this performance fee is based on profits. If no profits are generated, no performance fee will be payable. Moving on, you also want to have a look at the strategy provider's risk score. A score of 1 is the best, a score of 5 is the worst, as well as how many followers this strategy provider has. Primary reason for this is a strategy provider can only have a maximum amount of 200 followers. So if he's already at 200 followers, you'll be unable to follow that specific strategy provider. And then last but not least, you want to have a look at the minimum deposit required to see if you have adequate funds in your account to be able to follow this specific strategy provider. Now, if you do scroll down, you'll also be able to view how long this specific strategy provider has been trading for. Now, this one we can see has been trading since August, and then you can see the month-on-month growth that has been produced by this specific strategy provider. You are also able to scroll further down to see what the strategy provider's profitability rate is, what their average profit to loss ratio is, as well as how many trades they have entered and what is their primary asset that they would like to trade. While here, you can also have a look if this specific strategy provider has done any withdrawals. The primary reason for this is it provides you with adequate proof of their overall profitability. Then finally, scrolling down a little bit further, you'll be able to see their last few trades that they have entered, but I also want you to primarily focus on the lot size that they use when entering into trades, and I'll explain why a little later. So now, if you have gone through the entire metric of a strategy provider and you are happy to follow this specific strategy provider, all you are required to do is scroll back up and then click on the green follow button. This will bring you to the following page, which has a couple of questions that you would need to answer. First of all, how much would you like to follow this specific strategy with? Obviously, remember, this one has a minimum requirement of $100. So let's go on and add $100 for this specific strategy. Also, please ensure that you do have the correct available balance in your wallet, otherwise you'll be unable to proceed. Then you'll see it requires you to select a volume allocation. Now, if you do select 100%, then you will trade the exact same volume as the strategy provider is trading. However, if you, for instance, select 50%, then you'll only trade half the volume that the strategy provider is trading. For example, if you both have a $500 account and the strategy provider enters a trade with a 0.1 lot size, on your account it will execute a 0.05. That being said, I am now going to proceed and select a 100% volume allocation. Then you'll also be required to add a rescue level. Now remember, this specific strategy provider has had a maximum drawdown of 45%. Now a rescue level is how much of your account are you willing to put at risk for this specific strategy provider. So if you, for instance, set your rescue level at 50%, once your drawdown is 50% of your account, all your trades will be closed and the remaining 50% of your balance will be moved back to your wallet. If you, for instance, set your rescue level at 20%, once a total drawdown of 80% has been reached, the remaining 20% of your balance will be moved back to your wallet and all your open trades will be closed. Now I am going to proceed in selecting a 0% rescue level, which means I'm allocating the full balance of my account to this specific strategy provider. Then it's also asking for a copy minimum and maximum volumes. Now what does this mean? This means I am, for instance, copying this strategy provider now with $100. Now if they are trading with, let's say, a $200 account and they enter a 0.01 lot, I will be unable to follow that specific trade. However, if I select that I do want to copy the minimum volume, then it does mean regardless of my account balance, I will participate in every single trade that is executed with a minimum volume of 0.01. And similarly for the maximum volume allocation. Now from here, we can scroll down a little further. All you now have to say is I confirm that I have read the T's and C's for the HFCopy. You can also click here on the actual terms and conditions to go through that entire list of T's and C's, just to familiarize yourself of exactly what you are getting into. And if you are happy with everything you have entered from here on forward, all you need to do is click Start Following. And there you can see, now I have gotten a message saying, congratulations, you are now following that specific strategy provider, and I can head over to my follower accounts. And then you can see that an additional follower account has automatically been added to my follower accounts with the new strategy provider, as well as my new balance that is in that specific account. And then last but not least, our copy ratio. Now our copy ratio, you will see for the one we just copied, which is MGI Premium, is 0.03. Now as you can remember, the current balance of the strategy provider was roughly $3,300. So this means that my account is only 3% of the strategy provider's account, meaning that in the event that the strategy provider enters into a trade with a lot size of 0.33, this will execute on my account as a 0.01 lot. If the provider enters into a trade with a smaller lot size than that, unless I ticked the copy minimum trade volume, I would not be part of that specific trade.
And traders, so that is it. Now you are fully equipped to start investing, start building your HFCopy portfolio by having a look at which strategy providers best suit your risk appetite and how to go about investing with these specific providers, enabling you to maximize your trading accounts. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.